Hey everybody, this is Perch. All right, let's go straight to the mailbag with this. It says, Dear Perch, I want a straight answer out of you, not one of your wishy-washy, middle of the fence answers. Why do you act this way? I'm always curious. Like you decided to write an email to a show. You're acting all antagonistic. Why? Why? Just be a dick and leave something in the comments like everybody else, or just go on another show that likes to bitch about everything and bitch about me. Like it's very easy to do. Plenty of people will are desperate for it. Look, the reality is in comics YouTube and the quote unquote comics social media clan war, there's not enough angry feuds. I see like people with like 50 followers, the subject of a giant 4-hour live stream bullshit extravaganza. There's not enough feuds. Like, do you realize how horny and excited it would make everybody if I went on this show one day and be like, here's all the dicks on YouTube that I hate. And here's why. This guy looks like a rat. This guy lies. This guy is just getting fatter by the minute. This guy seems stoned all the time, except I think it's just his IQ. This person is just a complete hypocritical liar shill. This guy is a complete, weasel who should be in jail. Like I could go down the line and just but name names, and people would be so excited because it would give them material for like months. There's not enough feuds in comic YouTube. We'd like, the go-tos are quiet. Like nobody's going to tune into your YouTube for like Heather Antos is a bitch, part 854. Let's go. It's just, this entire feud that's going on over the Rippaverse, pro or con. It's a dumb feud. Buy the books or don't. Like literally, it's super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Like that. Like there's not enough. To me, there's not enough energy there to get a good feud going. It's like buy books, don't buy books. The end. There's like it's World War IV on Twitter. We skipped right past 3, went straight to 4 on Twitter over Rippaverse comics. It's like super easy to avoid. Also super easy to buy. The end. Like, what do you want? I don't know. The quality of our feuds are just not what they used to be. Anyway, we'll go back to this very challenging mail where I'm not supposed to be in the middle. But Perch, he's just joking. Why is it, by the way, whenever somebody is a complete and utter prick, the people who share that side ideologically are always like, that guy was clearly just joking, or that was a psyop, or that was a false, that wasn't really from our end. No, our end's not retarded like that. Guess what? Hard truth. Everybody's ideology has some retards in there. They do. Or in the words of Idiocracy, it's cool. My family also has some tards in it. She's an airline controller now. Anyway, she's a pilot now. I think that was a line. Anyway, I've gone astray. Back to the mail. I've heard people online talk about that comics are great now, and I hear other people saying comics are shit now. Well, it's time for your turn, Perch. Pick a side. Are comics great or comics shit? Literally, that's what this mail reads. Are comics great or are comics shit? That's okay, great. I want to hear your answer. Yes or no? No fence straddling bullshit. Thanks. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right, well, here comes some fence straddling bullshit for you. Yeah, there's some great comics out there. There's also some shitty ones. Just like there have been since the dawn of time. When, Jack Kirby's great ancestor, who was like drawing stuff on cave walls, probably need a few more greats in there. And he's like, fuck it. You want me to draw a comic about a bunch of guys hunting buffalo? Well, here's some spacemen going to another dimension, chiseled on the side of this rock. What do you feel about it? Anyway, it's funny in my head. Okay, I will, I'll take your bait a little bit. Comics in 2025 are better than they were in 2020. And I think they're probably better than they were in 2015, and they're not as good as they were in 2010. That would be my 5-year little assessment. Why do I say that? Well, here's the math, as they say. Um, I think that comics went pretty hard from 2015 to 2020, kind of in a few years plus or minus, into kind of this desperation of trying to appeal to a new audience, try to it was the "Hey, fellow kids" moment in comics, where they were trying too hard to be something that wasn't particularly entertaining or salesworthy, and there was too much of the and a bunch of reasons for this. Marvel, who always typically has this attitude, went a little bit harder than normal into the "we're Marvel and you buy what we say you buy." We you buy what we say you'll buy kind of attitude. And they were putting out stuff that was clearly just dumb as fuck. And it was like, this is what you'll buy because we're Marvel. A good example of this is Civil War II, where from from everybody involved, including kind of the artist and David Marquez, good artist, but somewhat phoned it in during that series. Bendis, who is 1 foot out the door and clearly off the deep end of no editorial interference. Every single character's voice sounded exactly the same. Lackluster plot, sandwiched to the middle of editorial direction where the Inhumans are the most important thing in the universe. Like Captain Marvel, for whatever reason, one of the big players, even though she hadn't earned it in the in a buildup of her as a character, like all those parts, dumb and bad, leads to the death of Tony Stark, except wasn't, got cleared the way for Riri to come in. Weird subplot with Miles. Captain America is Hydrus at that point in disguise. All parts of that were a great example of Marvel saying, here's our big summer event, motherfuckers, buy it. And that's so and you had that attitude around a lot of things. You also had even successes like Miss Marvel, a book that actually was pretty decent by G. Willow Wilson. And they're like, hey, let's go ahead and shove it into this Civil War II event, screw up the whole vibe of the comic, reboot it, fuck you. And that's also how it felt like. Thor went through 3 relaunches during that time period. Captain Marvel went through like 3 or 4. We got the weirdest Bendis X-Men ever. Like all kinds of stuff was just lousy during that era. DC was lost, trying to go like, hey, we can do that shit too, and failing. You had a brief kind of period in there where they did Rebirth, and they're like, no, we've promised for reals, we've learned our lesson, and then immediately fuck it up again. Like you just had a lot of real dumb choices, and you had the independents like, well, they must know something, and they also kind of went down that same track. So I think comics on the whole were worse, but here's the thing. And why is it that nobody remembers this part of my video when they're writing their shitty little comments like, oh, who's the guy recently? The Perch is a giant Trump supporter. Well, you clearly don't listen to this channel, you little prick. Anyway, I hate everyone. How is that hard to understand? But the thing is, comics, yeah, it's subjective. And I'm sure there are people out there who legitimately loved the comics coming out in like 2015. I'm sure there were, but the sales numbers point to a different story. So the sales numbers started to go down. They continue to go down. And but wait, the ICV2 says they went up in 2017 for, you look at how they were gaming the books with events and multiple covers and variants and everything else. It was a slide during that time period. And then leading up to COVID, where everything went off the rails. But I think by and large, yes, it's subjective. Yes, you may be one of the people who love comics during that time period. But in aggregate, I think there's objective logic and data that says that, comics were worse during that period. At the same time, comics aren't amazing now. I'm finding, probably 10 to 15 comics a week that I'm really enjoying. That's up. But in fairness, I mean, depending on how you want to slice that apple, if you're like, hey, X-Men, would you take X-Men from 2010, 2015 or X-Men today? Oh my God, so much better. So much better in 20. Like, look, sadly, with the X-Men, it's been a tough couple decades for fans of the X-Men, but If you look at the X-Men in 2005, yeah, I'm on board with that. Chuck Austin doing stuff around that time period, sure, I'll still take it. 2010, yeah, okay. But Decimation, sure, we can kind of, I guess, why not? Peter David doing some stuff, God rest his soul. 2015, okay. Getting kind of weird now with the whole Inhumans thing, and feels like we're doing some strange shit. But all right. 2020, all right. House of X, Powers of 10, okay. Seems like there's some promise here, but ooh, oh my God. I went back and listened to one of my videos, by the way, from that time period, like 1 or 2 months into the Krakoa era. And I remember I don't remember. It was in the video. I'm like, yeah, there's some good books here, but I really think that there's not a plan. It doesn't feel like there's a plan for how they land this plane. And I'm a little concerned that they're just vomiting out more books. It's like, wow, you're a prophet, Perch. Anyway, I've said this before. I'll say it again. If you could take me back right now to Hickman and Percy and who else? Teeny Howard. This would hurt. Vita Ayala. I would take that era of X-Men books over what we currently got, which is absolute dog shit books. Anyway, and so if you want to do this math of are the X-Men comics better now or then? Yeah, then things have not gotten better for the X-Men. But on the whole, comic books are better now. For me, as a reader, for my tastes, comic books have improved. I should bear in mind, I did like the Jeffrey Thorne X-Force. I do like the Joe Casey Weapon X-Men. I think those are good books. Crazy that they're apparently, one's been canceled, the other one's supposedly been canceled. Absolutely insane. But anyway, look, I think comics gotten better. I don't think it's like what was the choice? Comic books are great now, or comic books suck. Those are my two choices. Anybody who thinks in that kind of binary terms is an idiot. I'm sorry, you just are. And I don't care what other side acts you have to grind, but be specific with your question. If you want to talk about like, are the heads of comics, screwing with their employees and treating them badly? Yes, no. I mean, just say what you want to say. But yeah, look, if you go to a comic shop and you do even a modest amount of work and you're willing to look into some books that maybe are not the books you collected 20 years ago, you'll find 10 to 15 books a week that, probably pretty good. I said this once, like, oh, so Perch is saying 100% of the books are real. Bitch, there's like 110 books out a week. There are 110, there's more than 100 books out a week. 10 books is 10%. That's how math works of 100. That is not me saying 100% of the books are great, you big fool. Anyway, what about for you? Comic books better, worse, same? Where are they for you? And please, don't answer with the, I don't know. I don't read comic books anymore. They're all woke. I don't read comics. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you for not playing. I appreciate it. But where are you? Comic books gotten better, gotten worse, about the same? Let me know your logic. It's a completely subjective opinion, so have at it. And thanks for listening.